Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you all are having a great day and a good week, and you've had some good opportunities to trade this kind of crazy and wild market. Let's look at a couple of things. We have a lot of earnings reports out today. Apple, you can see, is getting hit. Netflix had some nice moves. A couple of interesting ones that I like to keep an eye on. Overall, Dow index was up, decent. We see about 67 points as a decent close. About 2 points on the S&P. Gold's down a bit, oil's down a bit. Everything's just kind of, everything's getting really choppy. We're having a bit of a consolidated sideways week, which means we should see some pretty big movements towards the end of the week as we get there. Tomorrow's Thursday, Friday. We should hopefully see some nice moves in those areas there. As far as news coming out, we have some Euro news. The German flash. Manufacturing PMI will be out during the UK Open, and then we have for the US Open unemployment claims. So those both should get things kind of rolling along a little bit. That'll be Thursday morning. Here is this euro dollar. This thing has been range bound this whole week and didn't do that much better last week. It's been really kind of sideways. For all of last week, it was pretty sideways, and then this week it's been totally flat. So we've seen this kind of up and down, up and down. One thing I talked about, remember, is if we get an open below 13300 on the on the 4-hour chart, that was something I was looking for. We didn't get it, and this actually, to me, looks like something is getting a little bit more bullish, slowly but surely. You can see some little descending trend line activity to keep an eye on, and so on. But overall, I would say that the slightly longer term run should be long on the euro dollar, but short-term, little tiny short-term activity, you can see that we kind of keep testing this lower area, which is around 132.65, and it just tests that, and then we kind of make some highs here around 133.50, 60, and it's just kind of in this little choppy, ugly range. So again, overall, if I had to make a wild guess and a bet and so on, I would probably be long euro dollar for the bigger move. The one thing we do have to definitely keep an eye on, though, and I've talked about this in previous videos and so on, is we have this weekly pin bar right here. This is a nice little reversal candle that is about 50 pips higher than the previous one, and it's at the 200-day moving average. So that is a threat for sure. The one thing I'm definitely watching is all these wicks in the bottom that's kind of being pounded out here over the last couple of weeks. But then we still have this weekly pin bar that seems to be holding. This little reversal candle seems to be hanging in there, and we haven't broken above that. And the high of that's about 13400. So just keep that in mind. On the short-term plays, though, well, and last thing to mention, 132.50 needs to be tested, and I think it will be, and 131.50 could also potentially be tested. So keep an eye on that. But on this pound, or on the euro dollar, you can see on some of these shorter term time frames, I'm just looking at little trend line breaks. Euro dollar's gotten really consolidated and messy and so on. But I think this little area right here, this little, just kind of getting below this, breaking below that trend line, could take us into 13300 and potentially test these lows once again, which are around 132.65. So this doesn't have a great short-term trend line break. It's really a lot of choppiness, but I want you to start really looking and watching these short-term trend lines on the 5-minute and 15-minute charts. And a couple of things to look at are definitely going to be, whenever there's some range traded pairs, like the Euro's done, like the Aussie's done, try to buy on the dips and sell on the rallies. And at some point they're going to break out, but for the time being, it looks like these all seem to be holding pretty well. So buy on the dip, sell on the rally, and watch that short-term trend line, and watch this 13300 on euro dollar. Pound dollar has done the same thing. This pound dollar actually has been horrific. It's got a high here of about 158.90 and a low about 158.00. If that, we have less than a 90 pip range this whole time. 90 pips is all it's been up and down for the entire week. So it's trying to put in some sort of top and some sort of bottom here for short-term activity. There's definitely a pretty nice little downtrend here. It seems like we might be able to hold this level, but we're definitely looking for a break of that 15800. That'll take us down into that 50% fib. and hopefully we can make a run through that. Now, obviously, another play that we can be doing on this pound dollar is looking for opportunities to test these highs once again. This 158.85 gets tested and tested and tested and fails, fails, fails. So look for some opportunities to sell around this upper area, just below 159.00. Even though resistance is definitely going to be near this daily or this weekly pivot point, which is around 159.30, 25.30, we could get up into that area, and that's what I'm looking for. If we get a 1 hour candle opening above this 158.85, we'll probably be able to get a run into that 159 2030. But otherwise, you know, we're range bound. Let's trade the range. Let's buy the dips, sell the rallies, and just kind of look at that. And then once again, just keep an eye on these little short-term 5 and 15-minute charts. We have these little kind of horrific-looking trend lines, but I think they're tradable. I think there's something we can do with it. When we have a big bounce like that, and then we're just kind of hopping around, look for the break. This is just a 15-minute chart. Look for the break. If we're able to trade into these lows, that's, you know, in this case, that's 35, 35, possibly even 40 pips. And so just watch those trend lines for little short-term breaks. Little tiny short-term breaks is all we want to look for. Aussie dollar, lots of chop, lots of messiness. We've had some nice reversal candles up around this high, which is around 105.80, and just keeps falling off that level. We have a pretty big bullish candle here on the daily chart, which looks like it's trying to make a run there. But again, watch those short-term time frames. 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart. Watch these breaks. We're getting another break. We've got this little high back here that's only 8 or 9 pips away. Let's trade against that little short-term resistance, which is 105.59. If we break above this, buy above that. If we break below this, which we're in the process of doing, let's sell against this little resistance up here that again is only 10 pips away. So good little short-term trades to place in the midst of all of this kind of choppy, consolidated, messy market stuff. Yen pairs, all the yen pairs again are getting, I'm just really cautious about these yen pairs, and they're we have some nice nice little reversal candle on this 4-hour chart on the euro yen, and it seems to be kind of holding these lows pretty nicely. But again, I'm interested in these little runs right here. We have these little trend lines, these little guys to keep an eye on. And so watch this trend line. We have our daily pivot down here, which is around 117.80, and we're currently about 15 pips above that. Watch for the break of these trend lines as we come off this 200-day moving average, and let's trade these guys down to the lows. Let's see if we can get some double bottoms here again on these 5 and 15-minute charts. Aussie yen, same thing. Here's our 15-minute chart. We're already making a break for it. So, we're 20 pips away from that high. Let's look to kind of short these trend line breaks. Pound yen, same kind of situation. And I'm just rushing through these because all the yen pairs basically have the same kind of setup. We just have some little trend lines, some little breaks. It's respected this trend line a couple of times, had a bounce on it, and here we go making a break for it. We're coming off that 200-day moving average on that 15-minute chart, which is also, usually a good little reversal area. Let's look to just trade those little breaks. They're just small breaks. They're nothing, very significant, but they're just, they're good for 20, 30 pips. And they're nice little runners. So let's look for that. Let's make those runs. Let's same thing on this dollar yen. Let's trade the break of these trend lines. We can trade against these highs. Remember, there's one that's 13, 14 pips away. And that's what we're looking for. So that's what we want to watch for, is just those little short-term 5 and 15-minute trend lines and all those yen pairs, Aussie dollar, and anything else that you can draw just a little short-term trend line in there. Get in there and grab some little easy, quick trades. Dollar Swiss franc is getting interesting. Remember, I want to kind of correlate this dollar Swiss franc with the euro dollar. We have a nice little descending trend line on this hourly chart, which means if I get a 1 hour open above about 93.05, right around there, I'm probably going to get long and see if I can grab 25 to 40 pips on a run up there. Otherwise, watch for this break of 92.75. 92.75 seems to be a pretty good little support right now. And if we break below that, that puts us into, a potential run down of 40 to 50 pips below that 92.75. So I kind of rushed through those. I wanted to get through a couple of pairs, but just, the theme of today is markets are choppy. Look for short-term breakouts on 5 and 15-minute charts, and let's just get those quick little moves, quick little trades while things are pretty range-bound and kind of messy looking. So good luck. Pause the video. Look for marking these levels and rewind it if need be. And good luck. We'll see you in the chat. Thanks, everyone.